Everything's a little bit weird now, because tonight it is showtime. In the middle of the street light, oh, we celebrate a good times, because tonight it is showtime. Come and walk with me, 127th Street, down the Rockefeller Street. Life is marching on, do you feel that? 127th Street, down the Rockefeller Street. Everything is more than surreal.
Hey everyone, it's Monster Review Girl, and welcome to the start of a mini-series on the Reptile Kingdom. To start, we're going to talk about the creator of the Reptile Kingdom, the Reptile King. I'm going to read the profile on him and add some commentary. I'm sorry in advance for my voice. I have a bit of a chest cold that I've been struggling to kick. Yay, being slightly asthmatic. Ugh. Moving on. So, the Reptile King is both the creator and patron deity of the Reptile Kingdom. He is really old, really powerful, so much so that he claims to be something unrelated to the gods completely, despite being functionally a deity from the perspective of mortal beings. By his nature, he's chaotic and predictable of unprecedented violence, sometimes for no real apparent reason, aside from either you were inconvenient or he was bored. Because of this, he's prone to causing mischief and antagonizing the powers that be, fearlessly sort of taunting the gods and highest ranked demons alike, both in word and in miscellaneous pranks. So basically, Dudeface is the canonical mythological Loki, that one annoying brother who will prank the bejesus out of you just for the lols. Okay, good to know. The gods tolerate this for fear of engaging in open combat with him. This has brought up some debate as to just how powerful this being is. Some claim that he is much weaker than the other gods, that only his insanity and extreme acts of violence keep the other gods unwilling to stop his actions, akin to how some animals will force larger predators into leaving them be by being overwhelmingly aggressive. Other scholars theorize that he is actually far stronger than any of the other gods, and the only reason he doesn't rule the world is because doing so would be boring. Regardless of truth, his level of power and experience leave him with an array of diverse and powerful abilities that leave him functionally omnipotent from a mortal perspective. This fact, however, is often ignored by the more zealous groups, tending to believe him far weaker than their patrons and often attempt attacks on the Reptile Kingdom in their own particular ways. The Order, Sabbath, and the Radical Monster faction being the most egregious offenders in this regard. This never ends well. His origins, or what he claims to be his origins, shed very little light on the mysteries surrounding him. He can be both incredibly vague and uncomfortably detailed, acting in paranoid secrecy, and be incredibly open with the various details of his past. Some of the common statements that he has made, for instance, claim that he is well over 300 million years old, having been born long before even the gods existed, in a time when insects and salamanders ruled the earth, stating that when he was born, he was a tiny and insignificant creature, not unlike a common lizard, and that over the time he's been alive, a ridiculous span of years that he has claimed to have lived, he has grown into the deity that we know today. He says that he has ruled the world, in fact having the longest-lasting empire of the planet in history, before a cataclysmic event that even he could not stop destroyed his empire, forcing him to fade into the background. This story is commonly considered a bold-faced lie by most scholars outside of the Reptile Kingdom, as it implies that the world is far older than any scholar has calculated and was not created by the gods at all. The fact that the Reptile King himself is known to sow false information to some sort of prank or to set grandiose events into motion lends credit to the idea that he is in fact lying. However, the similarities between his supposed origin story and the formation of many yokai Mamono in Zipangu have left more than a few in the Order's priesthood worried about the true potential of these eastern monsters. The fact that he claims to not be the only creature to have achieved this degree of power, and states that he is in part of an order of similar entities that he refers to as the Great Beast Kings, is all the more terrifying. What is known is that all interactions between him and a god or similarly powerful demon, both before and after the rise of the current demon lord, have shown him to be much older than them, as he often refers to them as squabbling kids, and many of them call him Old Lizard. He has in fact added more than a few anecdotes of gods years younger than his to the archives of scholarly writings, often by telling an embarrassing tale of the god's youth that the god reacts to as if it were true. Like many tricksters, he is a known shapeshifter and is rarely seen in his truest form. In the modern era of the current Demon Lord, he appears in a more human form, often one being a tall and powerfully built man with black hair and glowing red eyes, using this form as his primary means of interacting with mortal beings out of convenience. He has also shown a preference for the form of a seemingly harmless, if horrendously perverted old man, a small and insignificant-looking lizard, and an animate mass of dust and bone. As well, it's assumed he could take any form he desires. He is also known to take an unusual interest in a mortal or group of mortals, claiming that the winds of fate are turbulent around them. This statement can have some truth to it, as those who do draw his attention often lead a life of adventure in some fashion. Contrary to what one would expect from his violent and chaotic ways, this interest is more often a blessing than a curse. On a personal level, he tends to be almost friendly. He will incite chaos for his own amusement. However, this chaos is often harmless or even beneficial to the ones who have drawn his attention. He especially has a soft spot for children, proclaiming that he will gain the title of best uncle and that set about earning this title in many often grandiose and ridiculous ways. He shows to have some sense of morality and ethics in his interpersonal relationships, even if he is wholly amoral on a grander scale. Over the eons, he has done a great deal and acquired many titles, ranging from the menacing, such as the Beast of Blood and Flames, to the comical, like an Elder God of Prawn. He is a founding member of a group of gods and deific beings who hold love, lust, and fertility in their repertoire, commonly referred to by the derogatory term of the Pantheon. That he and several other members find the name to be more amusing than insulting. It is known that he has been anything but celibate over the eons, and that many of the most powerful monsters and beasts in history can trace their lineage back to him. Some gods are even rumored to be his children. Even his name and the name of the Reptile Kingdom are initially misleading. While his word there is undeniably law, he does not actively rule the kingdom. Instead, he leaves that to the hands of the lords of the kingdom, who are akin to the kings of the outside world. Instead, he is more a creator and patron of everything within the kingdom. The kingdom is, in a sense, a spirit realm created by his own power as a safe haven and homeland for all the scaled kind. The kingdom reflects his nature of being an unforgiving and unpredictable land with danger at every corner, but also immense reward for those with the strength and will to persevere. His very essence pervades through the kingdom, much like how demon energy is infused into everything within a demon realm. He has allowed many other forms of life into his realm, leaving physical border in the material world as open invitation to all who would enter. But it is space where reptilian beasts and monsters reign supreme, and he is the greatest. All others should be ready to earn their keep or die trying. The Reptile King has his own life energy, referred to as reptilian energy. It is the most common form of energy in the Reptile Kingdom, infusing everything. It's very similar to the relation between demonic energy and the Demon Lord. It is the life energy of the Reptile King and is influenced by his nature. In its raw form, it is a flame-like energy colored a burning or bloody red. It strengthens reptilian creatures and Ramlano, but also has psychological effects. Just as demonic energy increases their tendencies, reptilian energy increases a monster's more savage drives. While not decreasing their intelligence, their means often become more direct and a bit more violence-prone. While far from universal, many of the monsters in this kingdom are more willing to hurt or even kill their enemies than those outside the kingdom, even in the cases of species who exist outside the kingdom as well. It should be noted that this has little effect on non-reptilian monsters. Reptilian energy does have a corruptive effect, causing reptilian aspects and those prone to corruption like elves. Ironically, this provides a resistance to other forms of corruption, similar to how it's more difficult to dissolve things in salt water than pure water. It's the chief reason that this land is home to so many monstrous beings who have resisted the effects of monsterization. And that was the profile of the Reptile King. Next time in this mini-series, we'll be talking about the geography of the Reptile Kingdom and how it appears to function based on TARDIS logic. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to the Reptile King for letting me talk about his content. Please check me out on Patreon. $5 a month gets you your name at the end of the video, access to behind-the-scenes and uncensored videos, as well as normal videos a little early, as well as dev builds of any fan games I make. If you want to tell me directly what you think about the channel, check out our Discord server. Links to that and the Patreon page are in the description. I'm sorry, I cannot words. Like if you've enjoyed this video and subscribe for more Monster Girl related content. This has been Monster Review Girl, signing off.